What does it mean to be a murderer? Most games don't want you to think about that. They hand you a sword, point out fantasy monster number 5000, call it experience points and gold on your way to max level. That's exactly what I did in Look Outside. I ran into these tooth-filled, grotesque monsters in a neighboring apartment, and yeah.
Oh, God.
I killed them. Because what else are you supposed to do? I don't know, they're monsters. Monsters drop items and XP, that's the deal, right? Well, then I went back to my bathroom. I looked in the mirror and the game asked me, what did you just do? The screen gets redder and redder, your heartbeat starts climbing, the mirror turns into a frame of blood, and it keeps asking, why? You didn't have to go in there and murder them, that was a family you just killed, you're a murderer. And as you answer question after question, trying to justify your actions, you realize the game isn't talking to the player character anymore, it's talking to you. That's the beauty of Look Outside. Moments like this in gaming are incredibly rare. Very few games are brave enough to turn the camera back on you and make you, the player, feel uncomfortable. Because this game stuck with me long after I finished it. Look Outside isn't just another indie horror game, if that bathroom mirror moment didn't already make that obvious. It's an experience that grabs you by the face, and you can't look away. And there are two reasons why. The first reason Look Outside works for me is that it treats you like the one in danger, not just your character. For such a simple art style, the game's ability to get under your skin is honestly impressive.
Oh, shit! Oh! Oh!
It starts the second you step outside your apartment. There's blood outside your door, a trail you're meant to follow. The hallways of the apartment building are dark and dingy. You can barely see 5 feet in front of you as you follow it. And the blood trail leads straight into an apartment nearby, where you meet the first someone you're probably gonna run into. This is where the game introduces you to its combat. If you've ever played Fear and Hunger before, then you're gonna feel right at home.
God.
One of the things I loved about Fear and Hunger was how it scared you even during battle. Sometimes the enemy wastes a turn just to do something horrifying. No one takes damage, but you do. Look Outside does the same thing. The game narrates over the encounter like it's reading your thoughts. One of your neighbors is here. You've seen him before, but you don't know his name. He looks wounded. And then he pulls a knife on you. You're trading hits back and forth, and in the middle of the fight, he stabs himself. There's this gaping hole in his stomach, and then an eye forms inside of it. Yeah, once that happened, I wasn't waiting around to see what happened next because I home run smashed him into next year. That encounter isn't just there to scare you, either it hooks you. Because now you're wondering, what the hell is going on here? A guy you've seen around the building, someone you recognize, suddenly pulls a knife on you with an eye growing out of his stomach. And it seems like Looking Outside is what did this to him. So you're already locked into this world, or I guess this building, from the very first encounter. Because the game is showing you the change instead of giving you an exposition dump. You don't even have to be in battle to be afraid and look outside. Because of what's going on outside, you have no idea who to trust. The people you meet in the building might be human, or maybe they're just something wearing a human face. Take, for example, this guy. His name is Lyle, and he seems friendly enough. I mean, yeah, his design is kind of freaking me out, but at least he's not pulling a knife on me like the last guy. Things take a turn, though, when you ask him to trade. He'll give you some photo paper, but in exchange,
A kiss?
he asks you for a kiss. And when you respond with an awkward, sure, he gets excited. So excited, you see a bit more of his face, and you notice the robe shifting. Those aren't folds of fabric under there. Those are what look like hands. His only condition, we gotta close our eyes.
Hell no. This guy wants to kiss me? This guy's creepy as hell. I think he just wants to kiss the homie. Do we let him kiss the homie?
Yeah, I don't know what happens if you say yes, and I don't want to know. The way he reacted was enough to give me literal goosebumps. So it's not just the battles then that scare you. Even simple conversations can be enough to put you on edge. And later, Sybil, The one person in this building you actually trust tells you to stay away from him. She's your anchor of sanity through all of this, because she's the only way you can save your game. That's not just a cute detail, that is pressure. This game isn't easy, you're solo for a good portion of it, and party members, they're kinda hard to come by. And some enemies can straight up wipe you if you pick the wrong fight. You need to choose your battles wisely. Add on to that, Sybil isn't always available. She only shows up back at your apartment after enough time has passed, which means sometimes you're out there making progress for hours with no safety net. That makes seeing her peer through that hole in your wall when you make it back home that much more of a relief. And so from the battles, to the conversations, to the horror of losing progress itself, this game is constantly chipping away at your psyche from every angle. And it's not your character that's being worn down here, it's you. Even the enemy design is part of that. Nothing in this building looks like a clean video game enemy. In most RPGs, the threats are familiar on purpose. Wolves, bats, slimes, things your brain can instantly file away as enemy. You don't even have to think about it, you just fight it, get XP, and move on. But in Look Outside, the designs don't let you do that. A lot of what you're looking at feels human, or, well, like it used to be. And that's what makes it so uncomfortable, because now your brain can't decide what category it belongs in. Monster? Person? Both? The best comparison I can make to this is Junji Ito. A lot of his horror starts with regular people, human beings, but then one detail is pushed too far. Something stretches, opens, multiplies, twists, and suddenly the familiar becomes unbearable. And Look Outside does the same thing. It takes something human-shaped and exaggerates it just enough that you can't look away, but you also don't feel clean about fighting it. I think that's exactly why Pierre scares me. He's this clown you run into in the building, and I can't read him at all. If he was some bloodthirsty guy stabbing himself in the stomach, that'd be one thing. But Pierre, well, he just wants you to like him. He's genuinely upset that you're afraid of him. And yet everything about this encounter feels wrong. The music turns tense, your dialogue options are either yelling at him to stay away, or they're grayed out to a whisper. When you finally manage to flee, the game tells you, you get the hell away from that thing.
It said you get the hell away from that thing. Probably not a good idea to go back in there.
And it just doesn't stop. Back at your apartment, the narration reminds you you're still thinking about him. That clown. It emphasizes how much you hate knowing he's nearby. And when you try to go back, the game stops you at the door.
I'm not going back in there. Oh, it doesn't even want me to go back in there. Huh.
Later, you even get nightmares about him. When someone knocks on your door back in your apartment, your safe space, you freeze in fear, not even wanting to look through the peephole in case it's Pierre.
Maybe you should stay away from the door. Just yell at them to leave. Don't even bother looking through the eye hole. You don't want to see it.
Until one day, that knock is him. That's the part that really gets me. He hasn't actually done anything to you, but the game just keeps reinforcing your character's fear of Pierre until you start questioning whether the fear is justified or contagious. That's the core of Look Outside. It doesn't stop and explain itself. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The building just keeps moving. Which brings me to the second reason this game works: replayability. After Pierre, I kept having this feeling that I need to understand this place. I need answers. But the game doesn't hand you answers when you want them. The whole game runs on a 15-day structure. Every time you leave your apartment and discover new areas, time moves forward. Even if you stay home to craft or regroup, time still moves on. No matter what you do, time is moving forward to the end of the game. And once a day is gone, it is gone. Which means you can't see everything in one run. Not even close. Some days, someone knocks on your door, and if you're out when it happens, guess what? You missed it. So you're constantly making trade-offs. Do you stay in and play it safe so you don't miss anybody? Or do you go out and risk losing your chance for a potential new recruit because you needed to make progress? And as the days pass, new paths open, different characters show up, and encounters can play out in completely different ways depending on what you choose to do. I didn't even realize Ernest could stick around permanently if you handled things differently. In my run, He ended up becoming a pile of unrecognizable meat thanks to Colonel Squeakums.
Oh! He's dead!
I didn't know that was avoidable until it was too late. On top of that, there are a grand total of 8 endings, all fulfilled by meeting different completion requirements. That's why the replayability works. You don't finish Look Outside thinking, well, 7 more endings to check off the list before I really beat it, or ugh, when is this game gonna be over?
No one bats an eye, alright. Kinda odd.
Instead, you finish it thinking, what did I miss? Who did I leave behind? How can I save them? And what would have happened if I'd been home when that door knocked? Or even worse, what would have happened if I answered that door for Pierre? I think that's why Look Outside stuck with me. Most games want you to feel strong. They want you to reach max level. Or worse, they want you to pay for the right to do so, to see everything, to win everything. But Look Outside doesn't care about any of that. It doesn't care if you understand what's happening. In fact, it craves that uncertainty from the player. It scares you in combat and outside of it. The conversations alone are enough to have you on the edge of your seat. And it ties safety to the one person you can trust and makes you suspect even they may not be what they seem. And when you're done playing, it doesn't leave you satisfied. It leaves you asking, what did I miss? And if that question appeals to you at all, then maybe it's time to play something that keeps that question at the forefront of your mind. Maybe it's time to play Look Outside. As for me, I still haven't finished this game yet. There are things I still haven't seen. So if this video intrigued you and you want to see more of it with yours truly as your host, I'll be live every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST playing more of this. So if you want to see what happens with Pierre, subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out.
Oh my god!